what's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 3 of TheBotTalk. In today's episode, we have Jack from Adept. We're going to be interviewing him. Today's episode is very, very interesting. A lot of things are discussed, a lot of things are gone into detail. If you guys are enjoying the series, please go ahead and share it on social media. Drop a like, subscribe, comment if you guys are new. I do weekly Supreme content and other type of content. So if you guys want to stick around for that, go ahead and subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Without further ado, let's jump straight into today's episode. So guys, jumping straight into episode 3 of the podcast. On today's episode, we have Jack from Adept, who owns and represents a brand with a combined of 40,000 followers across all sectors of their social media and their company, being bots of all types. So we have an AIO, we have a Supreme, and they are venturing into proxies. And in today's episode, we'll be diving into the backstory of Adept and the backstory of Jack from Adept to discovering the secrets to success that made Adept where it is today.
Yo, what's up, guys? Jack from Adept here.
So, jumping straight into these questions come from you guys. These questions come from people that know Jack, and my personal questions as well. Question 1 is, how did you discover reselling?
Basically, mates from school when I was about 13. I was going for a bit of a rough patch. Like, mum and dad just divorced and stuff. Got a paper round, was on 20 quid a week, and my friend showed me that copped in Supreme bags, made them look £60 profit. And I was like, what? Now I just started basically copied my mate to start reselling, and then that's how I started getting my money. And then one day got a pair of Yeezy Zebras, sold them, got them for 160 on the first release, sold them for 1,400. And that kind of set me up to start reselling. Really, that's how I got into it. And then I got laid off my paper round the next day. Funny enough.
Yo, that's fair enough. Most people do that, to be fair. I feel like most people have that little spurt of success at the beginning, and then most people fall in love with it. And it kind of links into the second question. What was one of the main motivations or the main motivations behind continuing to pursue reselling? Because obviously it's not an easy thing, so.
I had like no money, mate. I was proper hard up. Like my family aren't exactly really rich. So I kind of had to make my own way and make my own money to enjoy my life with friends and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like it's a good story to bar there, because obviously I feel like a lot of people that do bot have a lot of family protection, because obviously the family are more on the wealthier side, so obviously they have that room to take risks. But obviously hearing stories where it was essentially full risk, 100%, like putting all your money into it, I feel like that kind of motivates people that are in those type of situations that want to get into it. So obviously it's good to bring it out there. But one of the main questions I wanted to ask is, how did you go from being a reseller, like everyone else listening to this, to jumping to making your own bot and creating a legacy, which was Adept?
Basically, I met an awesome team and we thought we could do a great job creating a bot to rival the other respective competitors. So we're all local, we're all friends and family. Me and the developer live about 5 minutes away, and me and the accountant live about 10 minutes away, all walking distance. So we're just kind of friends and family and thought we could make a decent product to rival with the others.
That's actually interesting to hear, because mostly these days you see people on Twitter through like mutual friend groups that live in the UK or live in the US, and they're all like miles away from each other, and they never met each other in real life, and they met through the internet. But it's actually interesting to see that your content and the head developer at Adept, you all know in person. So it has that kind of personality, like personal link, and obviously that kind of family blood that obviously you want to fuel everything into one product. So that is quite interesting, and that kind of fuels into the next question, where how did you meet Ed Case?
Me and Ed Case are family friends. So we basically just met for a family friend. He's been developing for 20 years. So got a lot of experience. So I kind of took advantage of his awesome development skills, and then thought we could make an awesome competitive bot.
Yeah, well, you definitely did. I remember being around for the start of it, not the beta, but I remember going for the first restock. And I think if people use product of Adept or people know of Adept, most people don't pay attention to Ed Case, which is one of the head developers of the team. He's really talented, and at the time when I first joined, I was pretty curious about him. But once you get to know him, he's one of the most devoted developers in the community, I'd say. He doesn't really have much of a social media presence. He kind of focuses on developing Adept, which obviously pays off with Adept success. But moving on to focus more on Adept here, where did the name Adept come from?
Basically, it used to be my old game tag on Xbox, and Adept means skillful, or very, yeah, it means skillful. So we thought skillful bots kind of goes.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I mean, that's a good origin name. Obviously, it's nice to see that names come from actual origin of your past, other than just like a random name generator. So that's interesting to hear.
It does mean skillful as well. It has a meaning behind it as well, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Moving on to the next question. The question is, why did you decide to stick with a Supreme bot over Adidas bot or Shopify bot? Because obviously there's 3 different sectors. So why did you decide to go into Supreme botting?
Supreme seemed like the best way of starting a bot in the business. Now Supreme is much more sophisticated than the others.
Yeah, true. At the time, it was no cookie, there was capture, bypass, and then pre-harvesting captures obviously was a lot more easier at the time in comparison to Adidas and Shopify. I mean, that's one of the things where if you have a successful Supreme bot at this time, and you did back then, it's kind of nice to see, because obviously the transition from having no bookie to bookie did make a lot of bots quit. Like example, like this Trip, they just dipped. But it's nice to see that certain bots stick through all the hard times and obviously came out the other end, is now having consistent success. Now, kind of moving into your mindset of running Adept, what were some of the things going into owning a bot that you thought that would happen that was completely wrong, that completely fooled you and you didn't expect to happen?
We thought that it would be all about the success of the bot, but there is a lot of expectations that we have into a good week, where there's also a lot of love and a lot of hate that we get. And there were issues that we didn't really think about. And also the amount of testing we do and the amount of coding is insane. Like testing and coding Ed Casewood all night. Look, on a Wednesday, he doesn't go to sleep until 4 a.m. and he has a 9 to 5 job. So he literally goes to sleep at 4 a.m, wakes up at 9, goes to his daily job, comes back, does a debt work again.
Well, that is quite interesting to hear. Obviously, I don't think a lot of developers do that. I feel like some developers focus completely on developing, and usually the main income is the bot. But I actually didn't know, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people didn't know, that he did run a 9 to 5 job. So if he's dedicating that much time to Adept on top of his job, then obviously that's quite inspirational. Now, talking about Adept, when you look for someone to recruit to Adept, what do you look for in the person? I
look for motivation, and they're driven to support people, because at the end of the day, it's all about supporting the customers and making sure the customers get the support they need and to ensure they cook. That's literally our main priority, is making sure the members are happy. And also we like our support team to be a family. As you may know, everyone in Adept was close and they're all friends.
Yeah.
We like that. So we look for good friendship skills, I guess. They're driven and motivated to help the users, and they're friendly.
Yeah, I definitely think that's beneficial for some bot teams. Obviously, there have been conspiracies and little dramas within botting teams, so it's nice to hear that obviously the Adept team is all one family and it's all together, because in my opinion, I feel like that creates the product. So if it's like that, then obviously the users would benefit from that. But talking about Adept, what are some of the positive and negative effects of running a company as big as Adept?
So as an owner, I'm spending a lot of time on social media, and I'm dealing with offensive comments sometimes when the bot fails, and it isn't our fault. Many people believe that developers can see into the future. Like, we don't know that a display could switch a button right now, and Supreme whole site could change, the backend could change, or the endpoints could change, and no bot would work, and I'd still get hate for that. So that does affect my life, and that, because I'd get all the hate comments, it does make me feel down, because every time I turn on my phone, you know what I mean, and get hate comments, your bot's shit, you know what I mean, when we put all that hard and effort into it, and people ask something that isn't exactly our fault.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the preconceptions that people make, that they feel like the dev goes into it knowing that it's going to 100% cook. And the one thing I like about Adept is that they recommend you to run all these modes with all these combinations, but they do say that it is a likelihood on weeks that they're not sure about Pookie, they say there's a likelihood that it won't work. So obviously take precautions and steps towards that, like running restock tasks or running manual as well. So obviously that is nice to see that a bot is transparent, and obviously dealing with negativity regarding bots. If you are someone out there that does hate on bots, obviously you need to learn that there's two sides to the coin. Obviously you have the side where you use the bot as a consumer and then you go for it, and obviously if it doesn't cook sometimes, that's how it is. And then obviously the making that bot, it feels a lot worse for the developer and the owner and everyone fueling the bot when it doesn't cook compared to the users, in my experience anyway, because obviously your hard work is going to nothing. But that is just something to keep in mind when you are running bots in the future. Now, on the flip side of it, when Adept does super well, what do you tell yourself to keep yourself humble, and how do you kind of take on all that success and all the positive comments?
We know some weeks are bad, and when things do get changed with short notice, we will keep going and keep trying to fix them till we get it right. And when things are right, we stay humble because we know the next week Splay could slip a button and then we'd flop again. So you stay humble because you never really want to get too big for your boots, because who you pass on the way up might be who you fall on the way down.
Yeah, that is true. That is reassuring to hear. If the team is reflecting what you're saying, then obviously Adept is going to be strong going into every week of this season. Now, one thing that we did touch on there is success. How does success on Adept affect your real life? How does it affect your mood, your day? How exactly does that happen?
If obviously we get success, it makes me really happy because I'm seeing all our users really happy in the Discord. I'm getting loads of likes on Twitter. Everyone's being really supportive of me. It makes me feel like I've done my job to the customers. It makes me feel proud that the customers have got what they purchased, if you know what I mean. Like, got the service they paid for.
Yeah,
But
customer satisfaction.
if that doesn't do so well, it makes my day. Kind of makes me, because I'm a bit attached to Adept. Like, it feels weird when you kind of put all this effort into a product, you get emotionally attached to it. So when it doesn't do as well, you kind of feel like you've failed everyone. But we know we're never going to give up. Like, we're one of 3 bots to have our own Pookie solution, and we are not going to give up. We will not use any third party, and we will keep going until we success, no matter how long it takes us.
Well, obviously, everyone can hear that at home. That is one of the main things that does side Adept from all other Supreme bots. That is one thing to keep in mind when you're investing your money in Adept. But speaking on his success from this new season, as you guys know, when the time this episode does come out, week 2 has just happened. And regarding Supreme bot success, what do you expect from Adept when it comes to this Supreme season, and why do you think that?
I think Adept's going to do well this season. I'm not being biased or anything towards it. I know a lot of other bots are going to do awesome as well, and I'm excited to see what the competitors bring to the table. There's no sour competition here. I'm friends with F3. I'm really close to Shabba. I think they're an awesome team. Yeah, I'm friends with people at Swift Soul. I'm friends with people at Soul AIO. Friends with people at Cyber. There's no sour competition here. We're all friends. Yeah.
Well, that's reassuring to hear as well, because obviously in the community you do get those occasional owners or developers or admins that do go against each other, like on social media, just based on success. So it's reassuring to hear that obviously you have mutual friends within the community, and it's kind of like a friendly atmosphere when your bot does well or your bot doesn't do well. So that's good to hear. Now, people have been talking about Adept AIO. People have been talking about the Supreme part of Adept AIO for a very long time. Adept, if you guys don't know, Adept AIO will be releasing. However, they did release the user interface a while back, but only enable the Supreme part of the bot now. The main question is, when do you think, personally, based on your estimations and what you can reveal today, we will be seeing beta testing for Adept AIO?
We're actively testing Adept AIO on Yeezy supply and KIF drops. We're making adjustments, and when we're happy with the extreme success, we'll drop beta. We're testing certain exploits and certain methods to see what one does the best. And we don't want to drop it until it's perfect for our users, because we don't want to drop some naff product. You know what I mean?
Well, again, it seems that like everyone at Adept is doing the right thing. From what you just told me, I was expecting you to say like an exact date, but if you're actively testing it, and I personally, from being on the team once upon a time, if you're actively testing it, you've been testing it back then I know when Adept AIO beta does drop, I feel like it'll be a very, very strong product. And personally, you guys can come back to this video and prove me wrong or whatever, maybe I will be right. Adept AIO will be one of the best competitors in the market for AIO, so you guys should keep your eyes locked on there. If you have a Supreme copy of Adept, you will be able to upgrade it when the beta comes around for a price, so I definitely think it will be worth it. But moving on to the final question of today's episode, what are some of your personal goals and your goals for your company for the remainder of the year?
One of my goals is to be the best Supreme bot on the market. That is one of my goals. I really want to be one of the top Supreme bots in the market.
Mm-hmm.
And I really want to provide awesome residential proxy service. We've dropped our Adept proxies to our users and they've had awesome success with them. No bad feedback has come back to me yet about Adept proxies, so I'm happy with that. I want to support amazing sites for Adept.io. There's some very interesting developments that I cannot mention today, but when they drop, they're going to be big and game changing.
Well, guys, you heard it here first. Jack has gone ahead and revealed all the secrets regarding Adept that he can today. If you guys did enjoy today's episode, do me a favor, drop a like, subscribe if you guys are new, comment your feedback, go down below in the description, check out Jack's Twitter and also all of Adept's social media. Go follow them, turn on notifications. They got some big things coming this year. I'm going to catch you guys next time. Peace out.